That's the sound of a big deal. At Wayfair, that sound happens a lot. Dream sofa for half the price? Big deal. New dining table you've been eyeing for months? Big deal. Finally picking up those last few pieces and finishing that bedroom? Now that's a really big deal. Whatever your home needs, Wayfair has the selection, the savings, and over millions of 5-star reviews to back it up. Shop Wayfair.com today before someone else snags your big deal.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Are there whales for your business? And what are they looking for? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
Serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
Let's go.
This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it up.
Hello, my Dark Horse friends and family. Welcome back to your daily dose of finding big fish for your business learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you, well, that's infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur, or one in the making, and you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here hitting you with another daily success episode on the Dark Horse Entrepreneur as we dive deep into success with actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up your game, because as we already know, there are no shortcuts to success except for taking those little steps towards your goal every single day. All right, now, as you can gather, today we're going to talk about whales. Fishing for a whale in your business. You're fishing for whales, aren't you? Oh, wait, let me back up. I'm sorry. Let's first explain what a whale is, right? And I know you know, but maybe that guy over there, that gal over there, yeah, I'm not quite so sure that they know. So, a whale is a term used, you probably heard it in a few different movies like Wall Street or Wolf of Wall Street or The Boiler Room, or definitely on a series like Las Vegas, because Las Vegas is definitely a place where they are fishing for whales all the time. Why? Well, because whales are the ones that come and spend lots and lots of money. So, all that to say, yeah, you might be thinking, are there whales for my business? Well, there are whales for your business too. And really, it's of course there are. There are whales in all lines of business. Now, these are the members of your tribe that are generally, they'll fall into the affluent or the mass affluent subset of your tribe. And if they're not in your tribe now, you want to get out there and get them. Let's chat about this subset, right? This affluent and mass affluent. And affluent is, well, you know, it's all those lovely people out there with enough money to get what they want when they want it, right? Some might call them rich. Others might use the phrase well off. But either way, whatever you want to call them, they see something that will improve their life, either from a beautification standpoint or a process standpoint. And generally, they're able to afford it right when they see it. Now, the mass affluent might not be able to get every little thing that they want, but they generally have access to a fair amount of discretionary funds to get those things that they know will improve their life in one form or another, or in this case, improve their business. And here's the real cool thing about it. All right, you will be surprised to know just how many of them there are out there. See, most of the, I'll call them intellectually wise, affluent people, aren't out there flaunting their affluence, right? I mean, think about it. If you were, would you? I mean, seriously, if you pause and consider it, would you want that big old target on your back? Yeah, me neither. All right, so I think we would all love or want a couple whales in our business, and they'll help your business along, and they are a little different. So stick with me here to the end, okay? Because what they look for is very different. No matter your business model or your product or your service or your coaching, a whale is going to look for something a bit different than the average person. Now, you might be going, different? Well, what do you mean different? Well, let's talk this through, shall we? I know some of you out there might have, say, like a monthly membership, right? Say a $49 a month membership. You might be wondering, well, gosh, I only have a $49 a month membership. Who's my whale? What can I offer my whale in my business? And these are both very valid questions. First, let me give you, let's call it a starting point to refine your whale. Your whale is usually going to be looking for something 5 to 50 times your average customer value. So let me take a quick second to explain, right? All right. Take the average value of your average customer, right? Multiply it by 5 to 50, even say 25, and that's going to be your whale. So if you have a $49, times it by 50, and there's your whale. If you have a $149 or a $499, do the same math. Now, let's not get all wrapped up in just the revenue, right? I mean, that's all about the money. And we know there's far more out there than just that almighty dollar, right? And I really want to call this out because it comes to the fact that revenue is not the biggest thing, especially when we're talking about the affluent. You really want to be in search of, let's call it the influence amplification effect. The influence amplification effect. See, this amplification is going to come along with their circle of influence. And here's what I'm talking about, right? Your whale is not going to not only be able to step up their game or step into your game at a much higher level than your average customer, but they're going to have a number of people within their sphere of influence who are at their level or higher, and those people too could step up and step into your game at that same higher level. So once you bring your AAA game to your first whale and they share the value that you brought them and their business and their life, they'll share that with their sphere of influence who will want to step up as well and step into your business. I mean, think about it. That's kind of flippin' exciting, right? You could quickly change the entire scope of your business, right? At the level you're serving. I mean, that would just be, I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. It's kind of amazing. It's totally amazing. But let me chill out, right? Let's loop back around. So again, your whale can step into your business at a range of 5 to 50 times the value of your average customer, and they have a sphere of influence within their world. So what do? Where do you go to get them? I can hear you now. Please, Tracy, tell me. Tell me now. Start doing it today. Where are they? Well, here's the scary part. They're everywhere, really. I mean, they're at the daycare. Well, okay, maybe not with COVID going on, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the same types of places that you probably frequent. The car wash, the grocery store, the electronics store, the warehouse store. They're truly all over the place. Here's the sad part. They're not paying attention to you. And before you think anything, it's not because they're like all snooty and stuffy and have their noses up in the air. It's more likely that it's your fault. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to point the finger here, right? They're not paying attention to you because you're not telling them what you have for them. All right. And I've mentioned this before in a previous episode. You're calling out to the crowd with your message. But you're probably calling out to your core tribe, right? Your core subset of that crowd. But now you need to start messaging to them. You need to start yelling out into that crowd a message that resonates with them. So now, if you're out there shouting to that crowd, you're fishing for that whale, doesn't it make sense that you'll use a little, I don't know, let's call it whale bait? Wait, what? Whale bait? What is that? Well, to be completely honest here, to be completely honest about what you do, I don't know, right? But what I can tell you about what it could be is that it's going to be something that you'll pull together something from your offer, or maybe it's something you haven't offered at all yet, right? You're like, okay, now I'm going to focus on this next level of person. Here's the kind of thing that they need, right? So you're going to pull together something that you're going to say or that you're going to offer that makes them look up, right? Look up from their phone or thumb stop. Right? You know, as they're scrolling through the world, right? Their thumb's going to stop and go, ooh, well, that's kind of cool. It's something interesting or intriguing or whatever adjective you want to insert here, right? That's going to make them look up and see what you're saying and hear what you're saying. For me, I don't know. Maybe it's, they want to start, restart, kickstart something of their own. They probably got a number of things going on. They're ready to start a new project, a podcast, for example, right? That's something I've had a pretty good success with my launch and getting some traction out there. I might easily be able to share that level of advice with my whale, right? Or better yet, someone ready to launch a digital course, right? There's a community complete with interactions and all that goodness, right? Something a little behind the scenes that, I know how to do. All those awesome and amazing things that you know how to do, right? Think about those. Perhaps you're not offering that out, right? And you're not offering it to that level of person and teaching it to someone at that level yet. And I think another thing you need to think about is, let's call it the affinity cluster. When you hear me talk about playing my drums or going to concert. Okay, well, not this year. Not a whole lot of concerts going on this year, right? But you get what I'm saying, right? There's a group of people that will resonate when I'm talking about those different types of topics, correct? People who enjoy music, people who like to go out there and enjoy live music. There's an affinity cluster of music lovers and live music lovers. If you ride a motorcycle, you're quite probably have an affinity cluster of other people who enjoy riding motorcycles. So are there affinity groups that you are currently a part of where your prospective whale is already at? Yeah. And I think the last little tip I can leave you with here, it's good speaking, right, is a term I heard from Dan Kennedy some time ago called the whale whistle. See, the whale whistle is something that you'll use, be it, on your website, during a face-to-face conversation, a Zoom call, webinar, sales call, group presentation, whatever it might be. It will be a comment, a sentence, a phrase, a catchphrase that you'll use that most of the average folks listening, they'll hear it, but it won't make their ears perk up. It won't even register to a point where they'll take a note or even jot it down, because they won't find it important or even relevant. And that becomes really relevant if you think about it. My time doing speaking, I know what I'm talking about is resonating, because you'll see that moment when a number of eyeballs or heads will go down and pens will go up and start to wiggle as they take a note on the statement that I just made or a statement that you've just made. That's the moment your message is getting across, right? So there's a power there, because as you probably already know, people attending, speaking events live or virtual are not taking nonstop notes, right? No. See, your experienced attendees, they're sitting there and they're waiting for that one special gem that you have stored, that one piece of knowledge to burst from your lips. And then they look down and that pen goes up and it starts to wiggle as they write it down. So the trick here is to use that whale whistle so that you see all the people that are in that affluent category pause and write it down. Because your average prospect and customer or client, they won't, right? They're not there yet. So honestly, they heard the words, right? They heard the words and they're like, okay, that's cool. But they didn't hear the message that those words carry, right? They're just not at that level yet. So now, you could try and make your whole business about getting whales. I'm not sure that's where I'm at right now, so I don't. But certainly having a couple or a few in your business will go a long way to moving it forward and stepping up your game. And they are very good customers to have. But you have to know what a whale really wants. And here it is. Believe it or not, a whale does not want to know how to do things. So if you're out there focusing on fishing for your whales by teaching them how to do things, well, let's be honest, they don't have the time. And quite honestly, they probably don't have the inclination as well. So unless, of course, maybe it's like a hobby. What they want to know and what they want to be absolutely sure of is that you know how to do the things that you know how to do. Yeah, there you have it. They don't want to learn. They don't have the time, right? This is it. They got too many other things going on, but they want to be sure that you know how to do it. Why? well, then they can hire you and you become their expert. And if you're their expert, you can become the expert to others within their sphere of influence. That's, ladies and gentlemen, is how the gears of this particular machine work together. So, quick recap. 5 to 50 times your average customer, and a good sphere of influence. That's going to be your whale. And that way, that sphere of influence is really important, because that way, when, not if, but when you do a good job, you'll get referrals from within that sphere of influence. So you're going to have to go out there and reach out and find a way to get their attention with that whistle. One way you can do that is to resonate with them via some similar passion that you both have, be it music or drumming. Maybe you're a collector of items that they collect. You have an interest in motorcycles or hunting or guns or fast cars or cameras. The list goes on. Something where the two of you can relate and you can leverage the start of that relationship into doing business together. But remember, in the end, they do not want to know how to do the thing. They want to know that you know how to do it. And they're very willing to pay for your knowledge and your service and your product and let you become their expert. All right, my Dark Horse friends. All right, tomorrow we're going to chat a little bit about serving as a leader while leading as a servant. And I know you want to keep getting all these daily success tips, so get on down there, hit that subscribe button while you're down there. Leave us a 5-star rating and drop us some kind words in the review. Get some kind words, some constructive words, some words of suggestion. Hey, Tracy, I haven't heard you talk about this yet. I'm always looking to grow myself as well. Until then, I'll leave you as I always do. Think successfully and take action.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.